Hello, this is Stephanie Washer, and I'm going over Word Module 2, creating a research paper for CIS 102 at Rock Valley College. We'll break this up into probably 3 sections, 2.1 through 2.3. So creating a header, changing documents, and the research paper in general is the first video, and then 2.4, typing the research paper, kind of going through all that and citations, and then depending on the time, 2.5 might go into 2.4, but I'm guessing that 2.5, 2.6, and 2.7 will all work together. So creating the cited page, revising the research paper, and then comments in the document, working with comments. So we've got all of those that we're going to go through. It's a lot. Here's all the objectives. It's basically everything I just talked about. And then the writing of the research paper. If you're using a Mac, if you're a Mac user, follow Word Module 2, so that's great that we have separate directions. I'm going to use my Windows machine, so I'm following this one. I'm not going to switch over. But if you have any questions on your Mac, let me know. We'll get it figured out. So there's 2 different types. There's MLA and APA. So MLA is Modern Language Association of America, and APA is the American Psychological Association. So MLA is basically for setting all the rules or guidelines for formatting and content in any student research papers or publications. And so it's for humanities and other fields. APA, same thing, only for social and behavioral sciences. MLA covers a lot more, it has a wider range of disciplines, so we're going to focus on that more, but APA, I'm currently using APA, so I'll probably interject here and there. My book for my APA course is, my APA research is it's so much stuff. And so luckily I have it all set up in Word so that I can use it there and I can easily use some of the things that I'm going to show you. So like the works cited page, so it's a bibliography. In APA we just call it references, but this is works cited. It also has a header that you put in there for MLA. And anytime you have a works cited or references, it should be alphabetical. We've got our title, but we have references that are in parentheses for MLA, and then we have our numbers below, referencing those. We've got superscript notes, we got content notes, so we've got different things that we're going to add in for MLA documentation. So there's just kind of an example. What things we're going to do, we're going to change the document settings, we're going to create that header, we're going to type in research paper text with citations, create an alphabetical works cited page, proofread and revise that research paper, and then work with any comments. So that's what we're going through. That's a lot. And so 2.1a is the MLA documentation style, which I just kind of went through. So I don't think I have to go through it again. It just puts it in text format. So then 2.2 is changing. So now we get into section 2 of this unit, and we're going to talk about changing the document settings, because we're going to have to make sure we have a certain font. APA and MLA, they're very strict on the font to use, font size, margins, all of that. So you have to be very careful. 2 formatting websites that it's the same website, but I go to Purdue OWL, and so all I do is type in Purdue OWL and APA, and it gives me my APA guidelines. If you want MLA, Purdue OWL MLA guidelines. So these are great. It's really, if you go to the home page, it gives you like the mission, all of that good stuff, and then you've got your MLA guide and your APA guides there. And I believe it just always has it on the side. There's Chicago guide. Sometimes it's like, ugh, really, do we need a Chicago? Do we need all these guides? But it's really nice just to follow one, and then everybody has to do that formatting and style guide. And so MLA style, there's a overview workshop, and then here's the whole guide itself. And it's great. We've got our general guidelines, and you can see you're supposed to use double space, and whatever font you choose, it needs to be 12-point font. Should be Times New Roman. So generally what happens is it's Times New Roman 12-point font. That's what everybody uses for that stuff. I believe that's what I'm currently using for mine. So You just want to make sure you have all of that set. And then it just goes through all of those things. The margins are 1 inch on all sides, double spaced, 1 inch margin, Times New Roman, 12-point font. You're going to print it out on 8.5 by 11 paper. And so the first line indent is important. There's so many things that you need to know with MLA format, and it can get overwhelming. And I think they use MLA. MLA seems to be a little bit more precise, a little easier to use in APA. APA gets a little, I get so stuck in the weeds in APA format sometimes. But it's very similar in that I'm using, Times New Roman, 12-point font, double spaced, but just about everything is double spaced. So, all right, so let's get into this again. I got my blank document, so we're going to start with the blank document, and I'm going to make sure it's print layout view. I like that view a lot. I'm going to make sure that it's print layout view. And then I'm going to go to styles and make sure, yep, normal is there. So that normal view is checked. Now you might want to do that paragraph formatting. I'm going to leave it because I think they want you to do that, the show hide. I might end up getting rid of it. So then we're going to go to view and make sure that we have it zoomed page width. Just uses the maximum space. There is a mouse mode. Okay, so we can verify that we're using mouse mode by clicking the touch mouse mode button on the quick access toolbar if necessary. Honestly, I never check for that. Here's the quick access toolbar, but I think we're fine. So let's type in mouse mode, see where that leads us. Oh, well, there it is. Mouse, touch or mouse mode. So you can set it to touch, more space between commands. So you can optimize it if you're using a touch screen, or you can use mouse. I'm going to leave it on mouse mode. And then we've got different styles that we use. So the styles, obviously we have all these different styles. I actually use, for my doctorate, I have an APA references style that I can use, so it'll automatically put everything in that style for me. So a style is just basically a collection of formatting for paragraph or font, and you can have it saved with a certain name, and it will be a certain style that you want to use. So whether our normal font, our normal style is 11-point Calibri font. So that is built-in default for that. And we can create our own styles. So we can modify a style. If we go to if we go to styles, we can actually right-click on normal, and we can update normal to match the selection. So we can, if you have your information set exactly how you want it, so if we have it set to Times New Roman, 12-point font, all of that stuff, we can just say update normal to match this. It's only going to do it for this document. So I have my document. Let me see. I thought I had it up already, but let me see. So I'm gonna, if I go to my drive, I love Google because it maps the G drive. It's one of my favorites. Oh, I didn't mean to go to RVC. I meant to go here. I'm just gonna choose one of these. I don't know. My most current one is probably this one. Okay, so if I go to my styles here, I've got acknowledgement, APA reference style, my headings. I've got my normal setting. So right now it's in normal. And if I go to modify, you can see my normal is right here. Times New Roman, 12-point font, and I don't have bold, italic, or underline. It is, let's see, only this document. So you can set it up to be only this document or new documents based on this. So you can have it all set up. And then it says first line indent a ½ inch. Otherwise, it's we've got our normally everything's aligned left. Widow orphan control, so it's all set up. So I already have all of this all set up. And then, so when I go, this might change on us, all the way down to my references. I went too far. So when I go all the way down to my references and I add in a new reference, I can use the reference formatting. So I can go to Style and then APA Reference. I can choose that style. So my document's going all over the place, so I'm not going to continue showing that, but there's so many pages. Anyway. Okay, so normal. So we're going to go to Styles, right-click Normal. We're going to click Modify. So right now we have Calibri is our default, and then it's going to give us a space after after a line is going to be 8-point font. We have Widow Orphan Control, whichever, that's just default. So these are all the defaults. Only in this document, so we can set that up. And we can change this. We've got the style name as normal. And we can choose like whatever we want for font. But because MLA says we have to use a certain font and they suggested Times New Roman, we are going to change it to Times New Roman. We are going to change it to 12-point font because that's what we want by default. And then we're going to make sure only in this document. So far I haven't saved this document yet, so we're going to have to do that in a second too. So all future documents will not use this, just this document, all right? So I'm going to click OK. So now everything should be, if we're in normal, everything will be Times New Roman. So we'll have that set. Then what we're going to do is we're going to adjust line spacing and paragraph spacing. So we can set that up. We have to have everything double spaced. So in order to change that line spacing, it's under paragraph. And we've got the line spacing button. And I'm just going to click on it and I'm going to choose 2. That's it. I haven't really done anything. I'm just still on that one line. I haven't typed anything. I'm there. So it should give me double spaced. So the numbers represent the spacing in between. So 2 is double spaced. Let's see how many numbers we got here. So we've got just single spaced, a little bit, 1.5 spacing, 2, 2.5, 3.5. So this is double spaced, triple spaced. So that's how it is. And then you can just go to line spacing options and you can actually set everything. And so you can have the spacing before, spacing after, your indentation set, your line breaks with your widow orphan control, all that good stuff. And you can set it to double, single, 1.5 line. You can set it whatever. I'm going to cancel because I already have everything set, I believe, the way I want. If we want to remove space after a paragraph, so if we go back to paragraph, remember we've got our line spacing. We can remove space after a paragraph. This is a nice button. You can just click it and then it's done. We don't have to worry about any of that line spacing. If you want to go in, you can go in and you can do line spacing options and you can take it out, but you can see the 8-point is gone. Update a style to match a selection. And so that's where we went to styles, and I showed that to you already, where you can right click and you can update normal to match a selection. So if you have everything set exactly how you want, you can click on update. I think we're going to need to do that here. Yeah, so even though we don't have anything typed, we want to update normal to match this selection because we want it to match this style. We want it to be the default style. And then we're going to go into creating a header footer because that's another. Okay, so header footer have definite ways that they need to be stated in MLA format. So we are going to go through that real quick with 2-3. So we've got a header is going to be at the top. So I just double click and it goes right into the header. So header is the top, footer is at the bottom. So when you double click in the margins, it automatically takes you to the header area. If you double click back into the main document, it'll take you back in there. So header, if you want a header text, you go to the top, footer is at the bottom. The MLA documentation style, they want you to have your last name 1/2 inch from the upper right edge of each page. So that is a specific thing that you're going to need to, that we will need to do. And so we're going to set that up right now. So we're going to go to, insert. So we're going to insert that. So we go to insert on this ribbon. And then we'll click on the header button. So here's header, footer. We can click on header. And then we can decide exactly what we want, really. And so there's a list of built-in ones. We've got all these built-in, so they've got some fancy ones. But we're not doing too fancy here. So we're going to go through and look at them. And then what we're going to do is we're not going to really use any of these. We're just going to edit the header itself. So we're just going to go in and edit. And we can switch from, we've got a blank header and we can actually switch down to the footer here as well, but we've got, everything is left aligned. And so we can see the dotted line is the bottom of our header. Our text is here. We have a header footer menu now, and so it's got a whole different ribbon. And so we can close, we can set the position, we can have a different first page, different odd even. So, and then you'll notice, it's hard to notice right now, but the document is dimmed a little bit. And so we can see that this is the header, the document is dimmed a little bit, and we can work in here. So while this is doing its thing, while we're doing our thing in the header area, everything else is just kind of dimmed and not being used. So what we're going to do is we're going to write a line, and we're going to go to the paragraph button. So we can go to home, paragraph, and we can write a line. And so we can click write a line. So this is left align, Control L, Control E is center, and then Control R is right align. So you can, it's really nice when you hover over things. I didn't show that in the previous videos, but if you hover over it, it'll tell you what the shortcut is and also what you're doing currently. And so we wanted to write a line, and we're going to have to type in there. We're going to have to enter that text in. And so we're going to have to type in our last name. And the last name is Yazzie, but I'm going to put Washer. And then enter. I don't know why you have to enter, but we can just leave it. I probably wouldn't press enter. I'd probably save it. There we go. Okay, so I probably wouldn't press enter to put it in there. I'd probably just leave it. And so we can add a page number in. And so I'm going to hit space and go to my header footer area. And we can actually enter in different things. So we've got page number, you can do date, time, document info, so you can do quick parts. I mean, it's all pretty nice, the stuff that you can automatically add in there. But really all we want is page number. And we want current position, and I think we want plain number, right? Plain number. So it just adds the number and that's it. So current position, plain number. So it should pop up like this. All right, so we've got our first page. We've got that added in there. We've got our quick part page number added. And to close off that header, if we just want to close it, we can just close header footer if we want, or I just always double click out of it. That's how I get out of it. And then I'm back in the document. You can see the header, it's grayed out, and that's how we are done changing that. So the next video is going to be typing the research paper text. And so that is everything on, we set up and changed the normal style for the formatting. We talked about MLA and APA formatting, and then we created a header. So we did all of this is MLA formatting so far. Similar, some of it's similar to API, but all of it so far has been MLA. And we'll go on in the second video to discuss the research paper text.